Auzubillahiminash-shaytanir-rajim. Bismillahir-rahmanir-rahim. Assalamualaikum. Ji ayanu pakhairagale ni hao chunushume washmale. Ohai gozaimas gute morgen. Hola, bonjour, privet, kaifa hal? Hale shuma chatore. Ahlan wa sahlan marhaba. Buna mucho gracias. Swabi ab bhalli kare aaya. Hoş geldin anaya sai khuyamora chibato chi haljot kali mera khairudan. And a very warm welcome to everybody who's tuned into Pakistan TV and are watching World this morning. Ladies and gentlemen, I happen to be Shahzad Khan, and with me, I'm really lucky that I've been joined by my wonderful colleague who happens to be Miss Eesha Rehan. For each and every one of you who's out there, we hope and pray that everybody out there is doing wonderfully well and that you're ready to kickstart your Thursday morning with us. But first things first, I think I am a little under the weather, but Eesha's not. Hello Eesha, assalamu alaikum, good morning. How are you feeling today?
Walaikum assalam, Shahzad. I feel absolutely great, and I think you are right. I feel for the past few days, I feel like I was not getting enough sleep, but last night I slept like a baby. It was so peaceful, and today I'm very energized. However, like yin and yang, I think today Shahzad maybe suffered on my behalf, and maybe he did not get enough sleep.
Say someone who actually had to take like 2 or 3 blankets to sleep at night. And imagine, here we are, ladies and gentlemen, where I'm all covered up, you know, wearing my winter suits, while she's right here chilling. And I think it's great, you know. So for anyone and everyone who's out there who's actually watching us, ladies and gentlemen, we hope and pray that all of you are doing wonderfully well, that your life is fantastic, that your children are doing great, and that, you know, that there are a lot of other prayers that I would want to kind of say to Allah Almighty, that for all of our viewers who are out there, for all of those Muslim brothers and sisters, for all of those people who are out there, that you guys stay blessed. And with that, let's kickstart our show as well. I think there are a few stories that
I have got, and there are a few stories that Shahzad is going to share with you. So let's get started with the interesting
So getting started, ladies and gentlemen, we did speak about how the honorable and respected Federal Minister for Information Broadcasting, Mr. Atatar, took to the formerly known as Twitter, now X, and tweeted about, you know, the inconclusive talks in between Pakistan and the Afghan Taliban government in Turkey, Istanbul. But here's the second page of it as well, and it is because of the fact that the Defense Minister Khwaja Asif has now said that Istanbul talks failed because the Afghan Taliban are playing into India's hands. Speaking to the media outside Parliament House in Islamabad, Khwaja Asif confirmed that the latest round of Pakistan-Afghan talks had concluded without tangible outcomes, exposing Kabul's true intentions. The defense minister warned that Pakistan will deliver a decisive response if Afghan soil is once again used for terrorism against the country. And why not? And I think that, you know, that we have had quite a lot. You know, we have had enough as well. It's been going on for the last 4 years, and we, or the state of Pakistan, the government of Pakistan, the civil leadership and military leadership, looks like as if they're on the same page, and we will make sure that, you know, that we have all the ability. And this is exactly what the Defense Minister Khwaja Asif actually mentioned, that we even do not have to deploy the fraction of the armory that we have. So we will be talking about it and we'll build up on it as well.
All right, that was a very integral issue that we will be discussing in detail, but our next highlight is regarding something very positive for Pakistan. Pakistan continues to make a mark on the global stage, and today we celebrate a proud moment for our diplomatic community. Ambassador Faisal Niaz Tirmizi has been awarded the Order of ZAYED II, one of the UAE's highest national awards. This recognition reflects Pakistan's strong and time-tested friendship with the UAE, as well as the incredible contributions of our 1.7 million Pakistanis living and working there, contributing to their economy. He dedicated this award to his team and the Pakistani community. And this speaks highly about how Pakistan is at the forefront of diplomatic friendships and people-to-people connections.
Exactly. So Pakistan and UAE actually enter a new era of economic strategic cooperation. But with that, ladies and gentlemen, towards the end, we will be moving on to my favorite subject, which certainly is sports broadcast journalism. We will be talking about how Pakistan will be taking on South Africa in the second T20 International in Lahore. And not just that, you know, for each and every individual who's out there, we have been saying it as sports broadcast journalists that India has been trying to toy around with ICC, and now we have clear evidence. We'll speak about it. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back. Good morning. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Thank you so much for staying with us. First up, as we mentioned in our highlights, that we will be talking about the inconclusive end to the talks in between Pakistani government and the Afghan Taliban government, and how just yesterday we did speak about, the Federal Minister for Information Broadcasting taking to platform X and what he had to say. And now in the recent development, we have seen our Defense Minister, Federal Minister for Defense, Mr. Khwaja Asif, giving out some bold statements, and rightly so. Imagine that the Defense Minister said that the duplicity of Kabul's stance is now evident to all, issuing one of his sharpest critiques yet to the Taliban regime. Khwaja Asif said Afghanistan today does not meet the definition of a state. He remarked the Taliban are neither accustomed to the norms of statehood nor do they understand them. The minister warned that Pakistan would not tolerate renewed terror activities emanating from across the border, and he declared that if Afghan territory is used for attacks, Pakistan will respond. And to further develop or build up on that, we're very lucky that we've been joined by Brigadier retired Syed Nazir sir, happens to be a senior analyst. Hello sir, assalamu alaikum, good morning, how are you feeling today?
Thank you indeed. My regards to all the listeners as well as the viewers and your team.
First of all, sir, for all of our audiences out there in more than 60 to 70 countries, how do you sum up this situation where the talks have been very inconclusive, and as far as my research goes, what I have heard and read and researched, it says that that the Afghan Taliban agreed to what Pakistan had to say, but they weren't willing to put it down onto the paper. What do you make of it?
Yes, exactly. But our Defense Minister Khwaja Asif has also said, and so many times it was indicated during the talks as well, that they will reach one of the conclusion and they will be ready to accept it. And almost the things were on the right side of the talks to succeed. And the reservation of both Pakistan and Afghanistan and plus the common ground was found. But at the same time, once they will consult back the Afghan regime or junta in Afghanistan, so they will be having a different signals, and those signals were completely opposite to what was agreed. So probably this went for many times, this sort of practice. And it was witnessed by the Qatar delegation as well as by the Turkey delegation present there, who were mediating there, and they were right on the top of the talks, what is happening and what is supposed to be the progress. And they wished to success to this whole talks, so that the two brotherly countries, neighborly countries come to the terms and the peace should prevail. But unfortunately, the junta which was sitting in Afghanistan, and they were getting feedback from somewhere else. And Khwaja Asif said that it was India which was calling the shot in Afghanistan and directing them not to agree to the very basic principles of peace with Pakistan, border management with Pakistan, and controlling the proscribed outfits in Afghanistan. And they should take the responsibility of their soil, because they have already promised in Doha Agreement with America as well as NATO and other countries that their soil will not be used against any other country. But Pakistan's soil has been consistently violated by these outfits which are fed, which are armed, which are
at this point of time, I would want to kind of add over here. Sir, I would want to kind of add over here, and what I would want to add is, now imagine that it's the Fitna al-Khawarij and Fitna al-Hindustan, and we do know for a fact how Afghanistan or the Afghan Taliban is now relying on war economy. And unfortunately, even in the previous time, and how Khwaja Asif have actually even stated in his tweet, which said that, that they certainly are not aware of what statehood is, and, probably they are the graveyard of, he has been mentioning that. Now imagine that, while they are toying, or they've been toiled by the, Indian BJPized government, how do you think, or what do you think needs to be the way forward? Because it looks like that no matter how much of diplomatic effort Pakistan puts in, but it still is of no use. So what needs to be the forward mechanism for Pakistan from here onwards?
Yes, of course. Once we see that because for every problem, even if the war is there, so the end is at the talks on the table. And there the things are decided. It may take very long, but at the same time, it must be decided on the table. But once they are running out of the table and They are not agreeing to anything which is plausible, which is doable, and which is actionable. So naturally, what next? There comes the question. So what next means they want to pursue their own lines and their own practice and the way they were behaving and the way they were practicing. So that's why I called it a junta. It is not even a regime because the regime is also responsible in a way. There is no statehood in Afghanistan. There is not a government. They have not come out from the militia mode. It is still in the militia mode. And they want to run the government in the militia mode. They are doing the buskashi. And if the buskashi is they are doing in Kabul and in Kandahar and in Khost, and they want to prevail it, and Pakistan is supposed to be a partner to be playing with this. So naturally, in the buskashi, what we said that Afghanistan is they rather the myth is that the Afghanistan is the graveyard of the empire. So Pakistan is not an empire. Pakistan is a neighbor, and Pakistan is a very powerful neighbor. And more so, Afghanistan is dependent on Pakistan in many ways. And if this dependency is simply taken out, the Afghan people will be the sufferer. Though the junta will be there, they are receiving the cash, they are receiving the dollars, and so many dollars they are receiving. But where they are being spent, they are not being spent on the.
Exactly. Brigadier Syed, thank you so much for saying that, which is why I'm going to kind of mention the words used by the defense minister as well, where he said that, let me assure that Pakistan does not require to employ even a fraction of its full arsenal to completely obliterate the Taliban regime and push them back to caves. Now imagine, sir, on these lines, just yesterday, 6 soldiers, including a captain, were martyred as security forces eliminated 7 terrorists affiliated with the Indian proxy outfit Fitna al-Khawarij in an intelligence-based operation in the Dogar area of Kurram district in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. So now we see that those skirmishes have once again come back to life. Imagine that, that if we are to speak about, the ceasefire which took place on the 19th of October, what is the comprehensive strategy Pakistan is now going to apply? Because it looks like, or do you think that that diplomacy has failed and that now Pakistan will really need to make sure that that they safeguard their territorial integrity and safeguard the rights of their people? And alhamdulillah, we have all sorts of armory, we have all sorts of confidence that alhamdulillah we have done it in the past and we can still do it. So moving ahead, how do you think that these things will settle down so that the region is more peaceful? India now knows that Pakistan is at a diplomatic ascent, so may it be United States of America, may it be China, may it be Middle East, may it be Poland, may it be Turkey, may it be Jordan, Pakistan is enjoying some great ties with them, and this is exactly the time when this proxy is hitting Pakistan and India is trying to use Afghan soil, to kind of dismantle peace and prosperity within the region.
Yes, of course, because Afghanistan has not been recognized by the world. One thing. Second thing is that the 4 years, rather past 4 years, the regime is of temporary nature or interim nature. And third, there is not an inclusive government in Afghanistan. And fourth thing is that the human rights violations are taking place on the daily basis. So the world is already detached itself from Afghanistan because it is not coming into the norms of the Committee of Nations. One. Second thing is, if they are not agreeing to the peace proposal or the peace talks, so it means that they are going for the hard power, or they are using the hard tools. If they are using the hard tools, so naturally Pakistan, as far as Field Marshal Asim Munir Saab has said, that Pakistan will be behaving like a hard state, and we will be responding. And the Khwaja Asif, defense minister, also said that they should remember Tora Bora. In 20 days, they were driven out, and the Northern Alliance was there, Americans were there, and the way they were shattered, and then they were coming to Pakistan and getting the refuge. So we also understand those things. And third thing, Pakistan is not a banana republic. It is simply the strategic patience policy of Pakistan regarding Afghanistan that is taken as a weakness of Pakistan, whereas that is not the weakness. It is for the people of Afghanistan that we are showing this strategic balance. Otherwise, the junta is not of that importance.
Exactly, and sir, while you mentioned about it is, I'm going to quote the Defense Minister Khwaja Asif, where he said that, certainly speaking about the empire, of graveyards, Pakistan is certainly not an empire. We do not label ourselves as an empire, but Afghanistan Taliban or the Afghan Taliban government will make sure that, that Afghanistan becomes graveyard for the people of Afghanistan. On this point, what I would want to kind of add on over here is that the United Nations has expressed concern over the failure of the talks between Pakistan and Afghanistan in Istanbul to reach an agreement. And then on the other hand, where we spoke about Qatar and Turkey, how they were playing a mediator's role, now Iran has offered to kind of mediate, and it was the Interior Minister meeting the counterpart on different platforms, where Iran has offered to play a fraternal role in easing tensions between Pakistan and Afghanistan. The offer was made by Iranian President Masood during a meeting with Pakistan's Interior Minister, Mr. Mohsin Naqvi. Do you think that if Qatar and Turkey have failed, Iran could possibly bring Pakistan government and Afghan Taliban government on the same page, and probably we can get something in the writing?
Look, if the empires were not understanding the history or geography or the culture of Afghanistan, we know it very well. That is one thing. And once we know it very well, so in the military strategy, they say you must know your enemy. And if they are acting like an enemy, so we understand and we know that they're in and out, number one. Second thing, they've exposed themselves at the international level, because previously the regional countries were there which were asking them to control and rein these outfits, then Fitnatul Khawarij, Fitnatul Hindustan, and other outfits. And UN has also been pointing towards more than 24, so was the Moscow were pointing to more than about 24 of these outfits operating in Afghanistan. So was the reservation of China as well as Tajikistan. So all the neighbors were asking them to control them, but they have not budged. One. Second thing is these talks were there and the hopes were attached. Again, they have run out of the talks, and most they are opting for the kinetic actions, or giving more or rather fuel to the hostilities which are taking place, and our brave soldiers are laying their life. And that is why, because these al-Khawarij are supposed to be removed and completely rooted out from Afghanistan as well as Afghanistan. That is the chart. And third thing is that once Pakistan will respond, so the strategy is that Pakistan will not only restrict its actions on the border or cis frontier, it will be cross frontier as well as be cis frontier, because the hideouts are there, because their leadership is there, and because they have been given the free run to move around, and the various facilitation is being given to them. So naturally, it is the right of Pakistan, according to the international norms, to defend itself and use any tools which can subdue, which can obliterate these outfits in Afghanistan. We are not fighting against the people of Afghanistan. We are fighting against those collaborators, those harbors, and plus those hideouts, and plus those outfits which are proscribed at the international level. So that must be understood by the Afghan people as well as the Afghan junta. But unfortunately, if they are not. So in these talks, they have been fully exposed. And if they are fully exposed and the world know it, they don't understand any language other than the hard language or the kinetic action. So naturally, Pakistan is compelled to do that. And Pakistan is very much capable of that. One thing more I must...
Sir, and it's very evident as well, to kind of see how the Afghan Taliban regime, have not even allowed women to go to their schools. The world have spoken about it, and how they're just at the helm of Afghan Taliban regime, the Afghani people, and it might probably be very challenging for them to kind of raise their voices while being within Afghanistan, even understanding that the Afghan Taliban regime is actually pushing them towards, which certainly does not really look like a very prosperous future. And unfortunately, for Afghani people who are out there, Pakistan has always been a safe haven for them. And for Pakistanis to kind of lose their lives, to lose their soldiers, the martyrdom that we have witnessed, that our soldiers, brave soldiers, have embraced in the last 4 years, something that we're going to stand tall about. But sir, now let's look for clarity over here. Is it because of the the Durand line? Is it because of the war economy? Is it because of the Afghan Taliban not being able to understand that we do not come to a very conclusive decision of ceasefire? Or is it just that you know, that India's BJP's government is warmongering and they would want to utilize Afghanistan Taliban regime to, you know, destabilize Pakistan? And certainly for any growing economy and a country like Pakistan, where we have been so resilient, even in the past years, where we have seen, you know, suicide bombing and terrorism, unfortunately, we've been fighting against these menaces, and alhamdulillah, our armed forces have always been very brave. How do you think that, you know, that there needs to be a resolve and Pakistan really needs to kind of look after this menace which they are trying to create as to maintain our diplomatic ascent and the prosperity within the region?
Well, India is following the Chanakya policy in Afghanistan because it is our neighbor and they consider it to be their friend and our enemy. They want to turn it into an enemy. But the people are not inimical to Pakistan, but it is the junta. Second thing is that they are receiving the cash. In Afghanistan, the banks are not operating in that way where they can deal with the foreign currency and all those things. So all the things during the Afghan war, whether it was the powering of the rubles or it was the dollars, or now it is the Indian currency which is coming there, it is all in cash. So naturally, the cash is being the coffers of the Afghan junta is being filled. And it is not distributed or it is not given, like the Awami League was not giving any sort of support to the other people, which they called them Ansar, and they were only supporting the Awami League people. So goes to the junta as well in Afghanistan. They are not giving any sort of relief to the people in Afghanistan, the aid or the money which they are receiving for the mischievous purpose. Second thing is that they are not trustworthy. Trustworthy in the sense that they've got ministers, then deputy ministers, and the deputy minister, there are an outside. It means that it is where the trust among the Afghan junta itself is not, because there are Khosti groups, then there are Kabul groups, and there are Northern Alliance, and then is the Kandaharis, and Kandaharis are more, you can say, ideologue, and those ideologues are connected to these outfits, especially Fitratul Hindustan. And third thing is that India thing, and probably Afghanistan is also in this misperception that since the relation with India, and especially the 4-day war, where the Indian Air Force as well as the armed forces kissed the dust. And even yesterday, day before yesterday, President Trump reminded them that 7 beautiful new planes were down, and I stopped the war. So these are the you can say, the Modi government has been put again on the mat as far as this war is concerned. So they think the two-front war against Pakistan will be very much useful because that will be the worst-case scenario for Pakistan armed forces. But they are forgetting that today's war is completely different. It doesn't believe in the two-front war for the reason that Afghanistan, what can do? That they can only remove our fence or they can attack some outforce. But taking an offensive or launching an offensive in the mountain and then getting casualties 1 to 10.
Exactly. Or sir, the only option left will be that, you know, that Pakistan army will be pushing them back to the caves, as well as the defense minister have actually spoken just yesterday that, you know, that they will be pushed back to the caves, and we will not hesitate to even go and strike within Afghanistan if we see any such sort of skirmish taking place alongside the Pakistan-Afghan border. The message is very clear, and I think what the Afghan Taliban regime really needs to think is that, you know, them as Muslims being at the hand of India and playing a proxy game with them and facilitating fitna al-Khawarij or fitna al-Hindustan with the use of their own soil, Pakistan will never give you a chance, not the Pakistan army or the armed forces, and we will not now kind of allow you to do that with Pakistan. And Pakistan ka matlab kya? La ilaha illallah. We're heading out towards a short break. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back.
back to all the lovely people who stay tuned to watch World This Morning on Pakistan-UAE. We hope you did grab a nice little snack and a warm cup of chai, because we actually have a very interesting segment that we will be diving into. But right before that, I think Shahzad has a very, very interesting story to share with us.
Pakistan and Turkey's Friendship Week, which has been going on, and just yesterday, you know, Turkey was celebrating 102nd anniversary of the proclamation of the Republic of Turkey, which was hosted by His Excellency, the Ambassador of Turkey over here in Pakistan. And the Prime Minister Shahbaz Sharif has reaffirmed Pakistan's support to Turkey's stance on Cyprus and appreciated Ankara's consistent support on Kashmir and Palestine. The Prime Minister was addressing a ceremony held in Islamabad in connection with Turkey's National Day. So congratulations to all of our Turkey brothers and sisters, and yeah, I think it's a great day to kind of enjoy, right?
Exactly. Why this is such a positive story. And you know, speaking about friendship and resilience, it is Pakistan and the UAE who have been at the forefront of friendship. Pakistan continues to make a mark at the global stage. Today we celebrate a proud moment for our diplomatic community. Ambassador Faisal Niaz Tirmizi has been awarded the Order of ZAYED II, which is one of the UAE's highest national honors. This recognition reflects Pakistan's strong time-tested friendship with the UAE, and it contributes to the 1.7 million individuals who are representing Pakistan and are working there. And to speak more about this development, this interesting development, we actually have the man of the hour with us. Joining us today is Ambassador Faisal Niaz Tirmizi, former ambassador of the UAE and the current ambassador to Russia. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much for inviting me this morning.
To you, thank you so much for making Pakistan proud. It's the people-to-people connection. We have seen, you know, how the foreign minister and the president was over there while you were conferred upon with this honor. And in addition to this, you have thanked the Honorable Prime Minister and the Pakistani government Foreign Office as well. How do you feel about it, and how did you manage to achieve it all?
Well, it's a great honor for Pakistan, for the Pakistani community, for the government in Pakistan, and for myself. I feel extremely humbled that the government of the United Arab Emirates, and especially His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, has acknowledged my 3 years stint in the UAE in further cementing the ties not only between the two governments, the two leadership, but also the people of both countries. And it has been the most rewarding experience of my life. And I take a lot of satisfaction in playing a role in properly projecting Pakistan and Pakistan-UAE relationships during my 3 years in that beautiful country.
You know what definitely warms our hearts to know is that you did such a heartwarming gesture. You actually contributed, you dedicated your award to your team and to the 1.7 million Pakistanis living in the UAE and contributing to the UAE. So what inspired you to fulfill this heartfelt gesture?
Well, you know, that's what I always believe. An individual is nothing without the support of the team and the people behind it. I was very fortunate to have an excellent team, both in the Embassy of Pakistan, Abu Dhabi, as well as in the Consulate General of Pakistan in Dubai. And we worked as a well-gelled team in the last 3 years. And the results are for everyone to see. And of course, I could not have delivered it all alone. It was a team effort. We thought, because the two countries have historically been very close, but our relationship was both basically restricted to political and economic relations. So we went beyond. We had a strong cultural presence in the UAE, a strong musical presence in the UAE. So we increased our footprint in different fields in which we had not endeavored before. And I was very fortunate to with the help of my team to make a mark. So I always owe it to my team and the Pakistani community, because I always believe when the embassies and the Pakistani community work together, they can do wonders.
Definitely appreciate your efforts, and you've done such a commendable job. We definitely applaud your efforts. And speaking about your tenure as ambassador in the UAE, what were some of the key milestones that you achieved? What were the key initiatives that you are most proud of that you want to talk about?
Well, frankly, for once, for a start, we improve the consular facilities in the embassy and the consulate. If you visit the embassy of Pakistan in Abu Dhabi, I have heard it from many Europeans and Western ambassadors as well that our consular hall are better than what you find in European embassies to start with. Secondly, our trade increased from 8 to $11 billion in 3 years. The remittance increased from 5 to $8 billion. When I was there, it was $5 billion. Then we had the Joint Ministerial Commission after 12 years, the joint political consultation after 6 years. We set up new mechanisms for engagement. For instance, the joint consular committee to improve consular issues, the joint investment committee to streamline the investments of the UAE in Pakistan, and the joint labor committee. We were very fortunate to finalize the first major investment in Pakistan when the government of UAE has acquired the first women bank in Pakistan. And then, of course, the embassy played a great key role in the finalization acquisition of the Telenor by Etisalat. Etisalat to date has been the biggest foreign investment in Pakistan, and this would basically contribute to the government of Pakistan because Etisalat only holds 26% shares of the PTCL. So if the share value of PTCL rises, it contributes to the economy of Pakistan, and the UAE has promised that they will turn PTCL into a regional hub for Central Asia and South Asia. So these are the key developments that I take a lot of pride. When I was there with around 400 flights a week to Pakistan, the numbers have passed 500 a week. The first time we started a flight to Skardu, and we eased the traveling of visas from the UAE and the residents of UAE. And we encourage a lot of people to explore the northern areas of Pakistan. That's what I believe, that IT and tourism is a low-hanging fruit. And if we are able to capitalize on that, we can easily increase the economic potential of Pakistan. UAE's export of IT has increased to nearly $400 million. It will cross $500 million mark this year. So these are some of the few developments. But the biggest thing was that we held the biggest celebration of August 14 in Dubai, in which 60,000 people turned up. The celebration started at 10 o'clock in the morning and continued till 12. And there were performances by Pakistani singers, by Pakistani poets, by Pakistani sportsmen. So that's the kind of contribution that Pakistan has made. We've had some great exhibition for Pakistani artists in the leading art galleries of the UAE, which has really made a significant presence of Pakistan in the art scene.
Mr. Faisal, for doing that, which is why, because you've mentioned so much that you have done, alhamdulillah, in your stint while you were over there as well. Just to kind of mention a few more, KGTL launches dredging project for Karachi port expansion, remittances increased to $9.5 billion. Pakistan UAE established joint business council, and it was all done under your state. But sir, now where you mentioned about your team, it's always the team which makes the dream work. We do know for a fact. But don't you think that you have created a very competitive environment for your other fellow ambassadors to kind of follow in your footpath? And do you think that, this will be well received by others and learned, and how they are calling you to already kind of learn from you, how are you able to do it yourself? And certainly, why not? If we have such an example where you've been, awarded with the highest award by the government over there, I think people really need to learn from you. So if they are to learn from you, what will you teach them?
Well, one, I'm very fortunate that even a more professional ambassador has replaced me in Abu Dhabi. Ambassador Shafkat Ali Khan, who has been the spokesperson of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs for the last 2 years, and I'm sure he will take it further. And frankly, I've learned it from my colleagues as well. That's what I believe, everything that when you share, you grow together. So I have learned, frankly, I have always believed that I also learn from my junior most colleagues. Because if they have something significant to tell me, I take their advice. And that's the most important thing. When you're working for the cause, when you're working for a flag, that should be your basic aim. And that's what I strongly believe, that of course you have to work, but diplomacy is all about relationships. It's all about trust.
Exactly.
All
And Faisal, one last question. Obviously, I'm never going to take away the credit where credit is due. It's due. You know, the entire Pakistan, the Pakistani nation loves you. Thank you so much for representing Pakistan and doing so wonderfully well. But sir, one last question. I do know for a fact that you are in Russia now. But one last question, why are Pakistanis not getting visas for Dubai or Abu Dhabi? You know, and is there a solution to that?
Yes, there are reasons. I've discussed these issues before. And you know, the Interior Minister was in Abu Dhabi 3 months ago. Secretary Interior has gone there twice. There were some issues in Abu Dhabi which are being resolved. So the things has eased slightly, but I hope that by the end of this year, things will really, the visas for the UAE will open, because the UAE government acknowledges the contribution of Pakistan. The Salat was set up by Pakistanis. Emirates Airline was set up by Pakistanis. The first four air chiefs of Pakistanis, the Pakistani contribution in Emirates have been considerable. So, you know, that's what I say. We have to correct our brand, and we have to improve our skills, and we have to have a more tolerant views, because UAE is a society where 200 different nationalities and all the religions of the world are living together. So we have to have those kind of things, that where we can work properly in a truly international environment, and our certification and skills have to be top notch.
All right, thank you so much. We definitely, all the things that you listed down put a smile on our faces. You put in so much effort to contribute to Pakistan's image and diplomacy, and we definitely applaud your efforts. Thank you so much for being the forefront and the face of Pakistan. And with that, we will be heading out towards a short break. Make sure to join us with a cup of tea. All right, welcome back to all the lovely people who stayed tuned with us. You are still watching World This Morning on Pakistan TV, and this segment is going to be all about sports, about what is happening with cricket, and especially regarding some discrepancies which we will be discussing.
Exactly.
Shahzad,
and I will be helping you over here, Eesha, don't worry. You know, so people who are out there, you know, we have been for a longer period of time saying as sports broadcast journalists that, you know, that India or the BCCI actually toys around with ICC, and imagine that we have a proof now. So that allegations of the Indian Cricket Board's influence and, you know, interference in the ICC have once again come to light in recent revelations, which have sparked intense debate and controversy in cricket circles. Former India coach Greg Chappell supported former match referee Chris Broad's statement, saying that former BCCI president Jagmohan Dalmia had requested him to help reduce the ban imposed on captain Sourav Ganguly. But Chappell refused to accept the request. Earlier, former ICC match referee Chris Broad revealed in an interview with a British newspaper that he was set to fine the Indian team for being 4 overs behind the required over rate during a match, but he was instructed over the phone not to fine India. Former India coach Greg Chappell supported former match referee Chris Broad's statement, saying that former BCCI president had requested him to help reduce the ban. Not just that, imagine Chappell refused, but now Broad has actually come forward ahead and saying that they tried to kind of get rid of that fee.
Exactly.
So imagine we have seen that.
When you think about it, a match referee is admitting that he was about to fine a team, but he got a phone call to tell him not to do so. And this raises serious questions about the fairness and transparency, about how India alone is acting in hypocrisy, but also about the credibility of the ICC.
Exactly, and not just that, I think over here what I would want to kind of add on is that imagine that India might be doing whatever they want to do, but Pakistan is keeping it fair. Where in the ongoing third Asian Youth Games in Bahrain, Pakistan's volleyball team won the silver medal. In the final, Pakistan faced Iran, which triumphed with a 3-0 victory. Iran won the sets by scores of 25-21, 25-23 and 25-23. Prior to the final, Pakistan remained unbeaten, securing victories against Mongolia, Bahrain, Uzbekistan, Saudi Arabia and China. Not just as in addition to this, ladies and gentlemen, Pakistan will be facing once again South Africa. South Africa are visiting Pakistan. And within the home conditions, Rawalpindi, Pakistan is the first T20 international. We had a very embarrassing defeat. We couldn't win, and it didn't really look like as if, they're playing at our home conditions. So to kind of speak about it, we're very lucky that we've been joined by Mr. Kashif Shabbir. Hello, Kashif. Assalamu alaikum. Good morning.
Salam. Thank you very much. Very good morning to you.
Kashif, you look great and your energy is great, and thank you so much for joining us. So Kashif, obviously, my heart is actually not at peace, and it's because of the fact that where we were supposed to take advantage of our home conditions, koi aur aaya aur aake dana chuk ke le gaya. So what do you think Pakistan's team composition needs to be in Lahore? And it looks like as if we have not been performing really up to the mark.
Shahzad, I think it is not about combination. I think it is about skill set. T20 is not just, coming on the crease and just hitting around every ball. I think this is not T20. T20 is picking the right ball and picking the right spot, and then, maintaining the average, maintaining the strike rate, and then scoring runs. I think this is what the real art, the real skill of T20 is. And every team has learned by every passing year, every team has learned the skill of T20, but unfortunately Pakistan has not won. Secondly, I think the best person suited for T20 that Pakistan has is Fakhar Zaman, but I don't understand the reason why Fakhar Zaman is missing from the team. He is the missing link for Pakistan, I think, at the moment, because he is the one who can stabilize the inning, who can pick the right ball, who can pick the weak links of other teams, and who can really capitalize on all the weak links of other teams. But unfortunately, that person is missing. Fakhar Zaman is not part of the team, and I think that is the main.
Exactly.
All right, and Kashif, what we were very anticipated to talk about was Babar Azam's return, his comeback. Millions of fans were excited about this, right? But what went wrong with him yesterday, right? We were all stunned by what happened.
Yeah.
Inclusion of Babar Azam was a very good opportunity given to Babar Azam. That was the right decision taken by the selectors, because we need one person who can stabilize the inning, who can play an anchor role. So Babar Azam is the proper man. That can be one of the bad days of Babar Azam. We just keep that thing apart. But the composition of team is very, very important. We need to have the proper team selection. Babar Azam should be part of Pakistan cricket team of all the formats, whether it is T20, it is one day or test match. So that should not be part of the discussion. I think Babar Azam should stay in the team. That was just a bad day of Babar Azam. But coming back to the point, we need to find proper batters, because Pakistan, the main problem of Pakistan is the batting side, the batting skill. We are missing the skill of T20. We need to understand that T20 is not just coming on the crease and just hitting every delivery. You cannot hit every delivery. There has to be a selection of deliveries on which you can hit, because ballers tend to throw good deliveries. You need to give that respect to the ballers. But Pakistani batters, they are not giving respect to the good deliveries. They are hitting each and every delivery, and that is where the problem is.
In addition to this, where you have spoken about Babar, I do believe that that it's been a longer while now that Babar really needs to come back. Do you think that it's the skill that really is troubling him, or is it something that where he needs to go back to domestic and he's not been doing that? Number one. Number two, if we are to speak about combination, you're very right. Imagine that if Fahim Ashraf is playing, why do you think that he didn't even bowl a single over? Do you think that it was Pakistan's captain Salman Ali Agha who really does not deserve a place within the team or the playing 11? Number three, obviously, don't you think that it's the pitch which they misread? Because imagine that we do know how, cutters, slower pace and variations that we tried, that we are not going to, get scored or thrown out of the park with the 190 plus total. But imagine, look at South Africa's decision with bowling, where they did make sure that the surface is hard. Okay, let's ball them at hard length with quick pace, and that's exactly what's going to do the job. So for us to kind of understand this in a way, I'm really sorry. Imagine that all of these grounds is where we play Pakistan Super League. Pakistan Super League is where we got our captain from. Pakistan Super League is where we got our white ball coach from. You know, so everything's coming from Pakistan Super League, and these are the grounds they play PSL on. So, you know, it's so hard for me to understand that why we're not able to perform, even in the conditions from where we have picked up the team.
I think we need to give more confidence. I think we need to give more confidence to Babar Azam. We need to tell him that you will remain part of Pakistan team, whatever the situation is, whatever the circumstances are. And secondly, his position at number 3, I think it is justified. He should play at number 3 because this is exactly where we need Babar Azam to play. So keeping that aside, talking about the captaincy of Salman Ali Agha, yes, there is a big question mark about the captaincy of Salman Agha, because the bowling changes are not right up to the mark. We understand that in the last match, Shaheen Shah Afridi was not up to the mark. He was not bowling accurately or correctly. So, I mean, there was no point in giving him the 3rd over or the 4th over, because there was an option of other bowlers available for the captain. So captaincy is a question mark at the moment. And we have seen in the last series as well that there has been very, very bad lacking as far as the captaincy is concerned. So that is a major concern of Pakistan. And talking about the pitch of Rawalpindi, we all know that it is a plain track, it is a simple track, it is a batting paradise. A total like 240 can also be chased at this track. But you know, if the first power play is not properly utilized, and if you do not score at a rate of say 9 or 10, then there is difficult moments for every team. And unfortunately we lost 2 important wickets in the power play, and we scored around 30-40 runs in power play and lost 2 important wickets. I think that is where the problem started for Pakistan, and that there was no other player who could, you know, capitalize on the bad deliveries or.
And it certainly, thank you so much, Kashif, for saying that. And you know, it absolutely makes sense that it's the scale where we've actually been beaten by South Africa, and unfortunately in recent times the way that the world is now actually kind of picking up with the kind of skill which is required to play in T20 internationals. Pakistan unfortunately lacks it. It's the lack of planning, it's the lack of training, it's the lack of will of our players to kind of go back to domestic circuit and play for themselves and enhance their ability and capacity, or for the skipper to kind of make tactical changes within the game or during the game. सब कुछ समझ में आता है, but Salman Ali Agha, skipper of T20 International, I don't know whether we can get it or not, but we hope and pray that Pakistan is going to do wonderfully well in the second T20 International, which is set to take place tomorrow. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, we are World This Morning. Look after yourselves. Have a great day. Bye.